The morning began like any other glossy British daytime broadcast, polished lighting reflecting off glass tables, pastel tones carefully chosen to project warmth and calm. Loose Women has always sold itself as a space of openness and unfiltered opinion, a studio designed to feel conversational yet controlled, with curved desks, soft focus cameras, and a rhythm that usually keeps even the strongest personalities in check. On this particular day, however, the balance between comfort and confrontation quietly began to fracture the moment Hugh Grant took his seat. Grant arrived with the familiar aura that has followed him for decades. Effortlessly British, slightly aloof, dressed with understated precision, he carried the presence of someone who has mastered the art of appearing relaxed while remaining internally guarded. His posture was casual but deliberate, a man who understands how every movement reads on camera. The studio lights caught the subtle tailoring of his jacket, the neutral tones blending seamlessly with the show's aesthetic. Everything looked aligned, everything looked safe, but Loose Women has never been about safety. It thrives on contrast. Personalities clash not through shouting matches, but through tonal shifts, raised eyebrows, and sentences that carry more weight than they first appear. The show's design encourages proximity, bringing guests close enough to feel included, yet exposed. That intimacy, while often disarming, can also feel invasive, especially to someone like Grant, whose career has been defined by his discomfort with public scrutiny, celebrity culture, and performative outrage. As the discussion moved forward, the energy in the room subtly changed. Denise Welch, known for her unapologetic delivery and emotional honesty, leaned fully into the Loose Women ethos. Her presence has always been powerful, not because of volume, but because of intensity. She doesn't soften opinions for comfort. She sharpens them. The studio itself seemed to tighten around that energy, the cameras lingering just a second longer, the production rhythm slowing in anticipation of friction. This was not chaos. It was pressure. Grant, meanwhile, has never hidden his disdain for the machinery of fame. Over the years, he has spoken openly about privacy, media intrusion, and the exhaustion of being packaged as entertainment. On a show built on candid commentary, those beliefs placed him in direct contrast with the format itself. The conversation, though still outwardly civil, began to feel less like promotion and more like examination. Not of his work, but of his worldview. The atmosphere grew heavier. The studio's warm lighting now felt exposed rather than welcoming. The sleek desk no longer symbolized unity, but division, a physical line separating guest from panel, restraint from release. Grant's body language shifted almost imperceptibly. A tightening jaw, a stillness that suggested calculation rather than engagement. For viewers attuned to nuance, the warning signs were there. Denise Welch's intensity, often praised for its honesty, became the emotional catalyst. Her approach, rooted in lived experience and conviction, clashed against Grant's long-standing resistance to being emotionally cornered on public platforms. This was not about right or wrong. It was about incompatibility, two forces moving in opposite directions within a format that thrives on collision. Loose Women is engineered for moments like this. The set design, the pacing, even the camera angles are optimized to capture reaction over resolution. Close-ups isolate expressions. Wide shots emphasize imbalance. Everything builds toward the unscripted moment viewers crave. On this day, the show didn't manufacture drama, it simply failed to contain it. What followed unfolded with a quiet finality that made it more powerful than any shouting match could have been. Grant's disengagement became unmistakable. The energy drain was visible. The connection had snapped. In an industry where celebrities are trained to endure discomfort for the sake of optics, this rupture felt almost rebellious. Then came the moment that sent shockwaves through social media. Without theatrics, without confrontation, Hugh Grant chose withdrawal. The act itself was restrained, but the symbolism was explosive. Walking away from a daytime television juggernaut is not just an exit, it is a statement. It rejects the unspoken contract between guest and show, the agreement to play along, to smile through tension, to let controversy roll off for the sake of entertainment. The studio was left suspended in disbelief. The carefully curated balance of voices collapsed into silence. The cameras, trained to capture emotion, instead caught absence. In television, absence is louder than noise. Within minutes, speculation ignited. Clips circulated. Headlines formed. Commentary flooded timelines, each version reshaping the narrative. Some framed it as fragility. Others as integrity. Some blamed the format, others the personalities involved. That ambiguity only fueled the fire. The lack of a clear villain turned the moment into a cultural Rorschach test, revealing more about the audience than the incident itself. From a design perspective, the show had done everything right. The set was flawless, the pacing tight, the production seamless, yet none of that mattered. Because at the heart of the moment was something no studio can engineer: personal threshold. Grant's career has always existed in tension with public access. From his early romantic comedies to his later dramatic roles, he has consistently pushed back against the idea that charm equals compliance. This walk-off, real or perceived, fit neatly into that legacy. It felt authentic to his long-standing discomfort with being emotionally dissected for mass consumption. Denise Welch, equally, remained true to herself. Her approach has never been about appeasement. It has been about speaking from the gut, regardless of consequence. In that sense, the clash was inevitable. Not a failure of professionalism, but a collision of philosophies. The aftermath became bigger than the moment itself. Online debates dissected body language, tone shifts, and studio energy. Media analysts discussed the evolving boundaries between celebrity privacy and talk show candor. Fans argued over whether the walk-off represented strength or sensitivity. Loose Women, once again, found itself at the center of a national conversation, exactly where its format has always thrived. This is the paradox of modern television. The more authentic the moment, the less controllable it becomes. The more polished the environment, the more jarring genuine discomfort appears. In a space designed for openness, the act of leaving becomes the ultimate expression of honesty. What lingered long after the broadcast wasn't outrage, but fascination. Not the words spoken, but the silence that followed. Not the confrontation, but the refusal to continue it. In the end, this wasn't about a heated outburst or a dramatic exit. It was about boundaries colliding under studio lights. About the limits of performative conversation. About a veteran actor choosing disengagement over endurance, and a talk show built on emotional candor encountering someone unwilling to be emotionally managed. That is why the moment resonated. Because in an era saturated with outrage, the quiet decision to walk away felt unexpectedly loud.